From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana, Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. Hundreds of early ballots for next month's presidential election have been destroyed in suspected arson attacks in Washington and Oregon. Authorities say the two incidents are connected. They have also identified a vehicle linked to the fires. In the city of Vancouver in Washington, firefighters responded to reports of smoke from a ballot drop box early Monday and found piles of burning ballots. A similar attack occurred in Portland, where an incendiary device was activated inside another drop box. However, the fire was extinguished before major damage occurred. The Department of Homeland Security has warned that domestic extremists increasingly see election infrastructure as a target. This has raised concerns about voter intimidation and access, as well as fears of political violence just days before the election. Washington Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez has requested law enforcement officers be in place overnight at all ballot drop boxes in the county until Election Day. Her 3rd congressional district is expected to have one of the closest U.S. House races in the country between the first-term Democrat and Republican challenger Joe Kent. The incidents came days after a U.S. Postal Service mailbox containing a small number of ballots was set on fire last Thursday in Phoenix, Arizona. With just 1 week until the election, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump holds a narrow national lead of 0.1% and is ahead in 7 crucial battleground states by an average of 0.9%. Polling from Real Clear Politics indicates a tight race, with Trump edging out Democratic presidential candidate Vice President Kamala Harris in key states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania by less than 1 percentage point. His lead is slightly larger in Nevada and Georgia at 1.5% and 2.3% respectively. These states are critical for the Electoral College, where candidates need 270 votes to win. If Trump secures all 7 battleground states, he could win decisively with 312 electoral votes compared to Harris's 226. Analysts say with historical precedents of popular vote losses, the outcome may hinge on these final days of campaigning for victory on November 5th. A former Trump administration official has exposed a far-right agenda known as Project 2025, aiming to overhaul the federal government if Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump wins the upcoming election. In newly surfaced speeches, Russell Vought outlined strategies to intimidate career civil servants. The strategy proposes to deploy the military for domestic unrest and significantly defund the Environmental Protection Agency. Vought, who leads the Center for Renewing America, revealed plans to craft executive orders and legal frameworks, including the controversial Insurrection Act, to consolidate Trump's power. According to ProPublica and Documented, Vought has said he wants the office to help Trump steamroll the kind of internal opposition he faced in his first term. Trump has claimed ignorance about Project 2025, yet more than 140 of his former officials, including Vought, are involved in this initiative, which targets climate regulations and social safety nets. Vought characterized the political climate as apocalyptic, positioning Trump as a gift from God to save the nation from perceived Marxist threats. Former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon was released from prison today after serving 4 months for contempt of Congress. Hours after his prison exit, Bannon launched his podcast peddling U.S. election conspiracy theories. An investigation by news publication Notice revealed insights from the former Trump administration official's fellow inmates at a Connecticut facility. The probe found that Bannon had aligned himself with a group known as the White Car, consisting of white inmates from various backgrounds. This group reportedly includes mobsters convicted of fraud and racketeering. Biden urges Israel to end war in Gaza as death toll passes 43,000. Details after the break, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. President Joe Biden is urging Israel to end its war on Gaza as the Palestinian death toll in the region has crossed 43,000. On Monday, health authorities in Gaza confirmed the number, noting that the majority of the people Israel has killed are women and children. It also said 101,000 Palestinians have been injured. Biden says he will hold a call to follow up on ceasefire efforts. Israeli airstrikes have killed at least 100 people across Gaza and Lebanon in the last 24 hours. An Israeli attack on a 5-story residential building in Beit Lahia, Gaza, killed at least 62 Palestinians, leaving numerous others injured as the structure was reduced to rubble. In Lebanon, Israeli strikes have killed 60 people, marking the deadliest day for the region amid ongoing tensions between Israel and Hezbollah. Notably, 16 of the casualties were reported in the village of Al-Alaq near Baalbek city. Analysts say this intensified military campaign indicates a shift in Israel's strategy, moving away from targeting Hezbollah's military assets towards civilian infrastructures. They say this seems to be aimed at inflicting pain on the group and its supporters. On the diplomatic front, Brigadier General Oren Setter, a senior member of Israel's negotiating team, has resigned amid stalled ceasefire talks with Hamas. This follows a visit by Mossad Director David Barnea to Qatar's capital Doha for truce discussions. Israel reportedly has proposed a new framework that integrates previous proposals and takes into account recent developments in the region, thereby again shifting goalposts. In Gaza, at least 43,020 people have been killed and 101,110 wounded in Israeli attacks since October 7, 2023. Most of the dead are women and children. In Lebanon, at least 2,710 people, including at least 127 children, have been killed and 12,592 wounded in Israeli attacks since the war in Palestine began. Israel faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice for its war in Gaza. More than 40,000 people have left Israel so far this year, the highest annual figure recorded. According to Israel's Central Bureau of Statistics, monthly departures have risen to on average 2,200 compared to 2023. Last year, more than 55,000 Israelis emigrated, exceeding the last decade's average of 37,100. Observers say this is a historic emigration crisis. A large number of those leaving Israel are military-aged individuals. Analysts say this trend poses serious long-term challenges for Israel's population and stability as uncertainty grows in the region. South Africa has submitted a staggering 700 pages of new evidence to the International Court of Justice, alleging that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the evidence demonstrates Israel's violation of the Genocide Convention by systematically targeting Palestinians with lethal force and obstructing humanitarian aid. He has accused Israel of using starvation as a weapon to depopulate Gaza, emphasizing that these actions defy multiple court orders aimed at protecting civilians. Ramaphosa is urging the global community to intervene and halt the devastation, saying the evidence shows a clear intent behind Israel's actions. Israel is expected to respond to these allegations by July 28th as international scrutiny over the situation intensifies. Several countries, including Turkey, Nicaragua, Palestine, Spain, Mexico, Libya, and Colombia, have joined the case at the ICJ, which began public hearings in January. Social media platform X has suspended the Hebrew language account of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The account was suspended with a note reading, "X suspends accounts which violate the X rules." The account was opened late Saturday following Israel's strikes on Iran. In February, Meta removed Facebook and Instagram accounts linked with Khamenei over his support for Hamas following its October 7, 2023 attacks on Israel. Harvard University is facing fierce backlash after suspending more than 60 law students and 25 faculty members from library access. This is due to their participation in Free-Palestine protests. The unrest intensified during a silent protest at Langdale Library, where students displayed flyers condemning Israel's war and violence in Gaza. Administrators justified the sanctions, claiming the protest disrupted the library's purpose. Many students argued their rights to peaceful expression are being undermined. Law school co-presidents Deborah Alexis and John Fossum criticized Harvard's policies, describing them as unintelligible. Observers say the situation reflects broader national tensions as U.S. campuses witness increased activism against Israel's war on Gaza. The war has killed more than 43,000 people, mostly women and children, and has led to severe humanitarian crises in Palestine. Despite the university's crackdown, advocates for open dialogue continue to push for the right to protest. They stress academic institutions should encourage diverse perspectives rather than suppress them. On Monday, UN experts urged France to reconsider its ban on hijabs in sports, labeling it discriminatory. The experts criticized decisions by the French football and basketball federations, which exclude women and girls wearing hijabs from competitions, including at amateur levels. They also condemned the government's stance preventing hijab-wearing athletes from representing France at last summer's Paris Olympics. They say the ban infringes on their rights to express their identity and practice their religion. The experts emphasized Muslim women must have equal opportunities in cultural and sporting life. They are urging French authorities to align with international standards protecting freedom of expression and religion. They also argue the notion of state neutrality cannot justify restrictions on these rights. The Houston branch of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, is commending Houston airports. This is for establishing a new room to perform wudu and prayer facilities at George Bush Intercontinental Airport. Wudu refers to the purification Muslims perform before prayer. Located in Terminal D, CAIR says the facilities offer a clean, peaceful space for daily prayers and ablution. It is one of the first airports in the U.S. to offer such amenities. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.